Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for this adventure. Today I'm going to be playing a print and play in-hand card game called Galdor's Grip. Before we get to it, I would like to ask you to consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more adventures just like this one, and liking this video if you find yourself enjoying it. Now, Galdor's Grip is a game that I have had printed out and ready to go for quite a long time. I want to say at least a year at this point, maybe a couple of years. I think it's actually a couple of years. And for some reason, when I first read the rules, I found it a little overwhelming, and there was really no reason for that, because yesterday I sat down, reread them quite quickly while I was sitting in a local park and played the game in hand, because that's the sort of game this is. You can play it all in the palm of your hand. You don't have to put the cards down anywhere, which makes it very portable and playable in different contexts. And I found the game very accessible and easy to understand. So I don't really know, I was probably just in the wrong frame of mind the first time I tackled the game. So as I said, this is a print and play game. I don't think you can buy a physical copy of it anywhere. I might be wrong. And this is the entirety of the cards in the base game. There are a few expansions, but I haven't checked those out yet myself. So we've got 18 cards here, and I've got them split into some logical piles here, which will allow us to briefly discuss the game before getting into playing it. So at the top here we can see that it runs for about 30 minutes, so it does play a little bit longer than you might anticipate for a in-hand 18 card game, especially if you're thinking carefully about it. I was a bit more gung-ho with my playthroughs yesterday, and I don't think they ran to quite 30 minutes, but had I have taken the time to more carefully consider my moves, maybe it would have done. One player, in hand, no table needed. Long ago, the realm was threatened by an ancient evil known as Frenzied Flame, which sought to plunge the world into chaos and destruction. Guardian Galdor, a powerful wizard, rose to meet the threat and engaged in a fierce battle to prevent the realm's destruction. With great effort, Galdor was able to defeat the insidious being, but not without a cost. Remnants of the evil, chaotic energy had seeped into his mind, lying dormant for centuries. In the present day, a grand telepath named Farragut sensed the lingering chaos trapped within Galdor's mind and became obsessed with extracting the ancient evil to release its power upon the world. Farragut, using his telepathic abilities, invaded Galdor's mind, attempting to unravel the Guardian's psyche and free the chaos within. Galdor, unable to combat Farragut's powerful mind magic on his own, called upon skilled telepaths to enter his mind and help him defeat Farragut's intrusion. You have volunteered your telepathic powers to enter Galdor's mind and lure Farragut into an illusory prison, where you can trap him and prevent him from releasing the ancient evil upon the world. Using your skills, navigate Galdor's psyche, channel the power of the surrounding manifestations, and seal Farragut within the illusory prison, saving the realm from the threat of Frenzied Flame's chaotic energy once and for all. So we've got quite a cool sort of concept there, quite cool lore around this game. Galdor's mind is the landscape in which this battle takes place, and you are fighting an evil force, the telepath Farragut, in order to save the day. So I kind of like that. I think it's kind of cool that we're playing in Galdor's mind. And we've got these two cards here which are particularly pivotal to the game. We've got Galdor's Grip, and as soon as Galdor's Grip turns up, once the 4 binding stones have been flipped, because flipping cards is an important aspect of this game. So if you have a card with this little flip arrow on it, you can rotate it so that it's facing the other way. So as soon as the 4 binding stones have been revealed, Galdor's grip is rotated, and then the next time it turns up, the game ends, and you have to have at least 9 stars to win. So the stars represent the power, as it were, that you've been building over the course of the game. Certain cards being revealed or flipped or in a certain order will give you power. And if you have 9 power in the deck currently revealed, then you win, which I have not done yet. The other key card is Farragut's Fortress, and that allows you to look at unrevealed cards. But if there are no cards that have not been revealed, then you lose the game if this comes to the top of the deck. So this is kind of a timer to the end and at definite failure, and this is a timer to the end of where you might experience failure, or maybe you'll win if you've played correctly. So we've got Farragut's Fortress, we've got Galdor's Grip, we've got the 4 stones, the binding stones that will be used to bind Farragut and trap him so that he cannot attempt to use the power of Frenzied Flame. Farragut also has these monsters called Figments. They can also end the game. So the first time a monster comes out, he just carries on through the deck. Next time he is revealed, he gets flipped over. And then the final time he is revealed, he consumes your mind, destroys you totally, and ends your attempt to overcome Farragut. So that's another way you can lose. And then we've got a bunch of other cards here that do interesting things. The Frenzied Flame kind of skips around and a bit random, possibly gives you a star, possibly doesn't. And then we've got some other ones that we'll talk about as we are playing. But I think that's probably enough chat before we get started. So I'm going to collect up these cards. I'm going to give them a good old shuffle so that their order is completely random. And then we will be ready to make a start. And this is the last time I'm going to put the deck down in this game. The rest of this video I will be holding it because it is an in-hand game. I will say before we make a start that unfortunately my print and play skills were a bit off on this day. So some of the cards have a white line on the back. That is very unfortunate given the fact that you're looking at the backs of the cards quite a bit, and it matters. You want the identity of these cards to be completely hidden. So luckily my brain isn't particularly analytical, and I've managed to avoid learning so far which cards it is that have the white line. But such is life. I think I like this game enough that I'm going to try and print it out again and do a better job of it this time, especially because I want to get the expansions as well, and I want it to be pretty and lovely. And I can't help but shake the sense that Galdor on the back of the card looks a little bit like Alan Moore. Right, I think it's time to make a start, isn't it? So here we go. So remember, we are trying to reveal the binding stones. We're trying to avoid the monsters as much as possible, although you do want to encounter the monsters and flip them round to their danger orientation, because that way they get you stars. And stars is the aim of the game. We're trying to get 9 by the time we reveal the Galdor's Grip card. Is it called Galdor's Grip? Yes. By the time we reveal Galdor's Grip card, we want to have 9 stars in the bag, ready to go and win us the game. Here we go. Each round we reveal a card. Oh, we've got a binding card straight away. That's pretty good. And then we move a particular number of cards to the back of the deck. And that is based upon this number here. So at the moment we would be moving just 1 card to the back of the deck, and that would be just the binding stone. We could flip the card right now if we wanted to, and then we would be moving 6 cards to the back of the deck. I don't think that really matters at this point, so I think we'll keep it in this orientation. Note that we've got an end game condition here. If this card has the same value as an adjacent card, score 1 power at the end of the game. So we'll move that to the back. and then we'll reveal the next one. And that's the gameplay loop, really. You're just revealing a card, having a look at the ability or the card text here, and then moving a certain number of cards to the back of the deck. So we've got a figment of Farragut here, which is unfortunate, but it says here, if this card was face up prior to this turn, rotate it. Well, it wasn't face up, it was face down, so we just leave it as it is, and we're going to move 2 cards to the back of the deck. 1, 2. So notice that when we move cards to the back of the deck, the cards will remain flipped to the front side or the back side as they were, so we're not changing that. We're not changing the orientation. The figment of Farragut cards, or the orientation, cannot be changed. Cannot be changed by the player's agency, only as per the card text. 2 cards going to the back, onto the next card. And it is Balgran's Beard. So it says here that we have got a moving to the bottom of the deck ability. So this triggers when we move Balgran's Beard to the bottom of the deck. If the sum of all cards moving to the bottom of the deck is 13 or higher, rotate this card. And the benefit of rotating Balgran's Beard, we can just have a quick look here, is that we can choose ourselves how many cards to move to the bottom of the deck. That can be very important for manipulating what card you have next. So that can be between 1 and 6. And also it would give us a star had we have rotated Balgran's Beard. So we're going to be moving 3 cards to the bottom of the deck. And we're going to be checking to see whether the total value of those 3 cards is 13 or higher. Now obviously that is not the case, because the 2 of the cards that we're moving to the bottom of the deck have not yet been flipped. So the total value is just the 3 of Balgran's Beard, not 13 or higher, so we're not going to be flipping Balgran's Beard on this occasion. So we have got one of the figments of Farragut, and if you remember, these are the sort of foot soldiers of the bad guy, and if at any point we reveal this card and it has already been flipped round, then we lose. However, at this point we just leave it as it is. Next time we come across it, we have to flip it around, and then the time after that it would result in a loss, and we need to move 5 cards to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, maybe I should move the camera slightly closer. There we go, that's a bit better. So now we've got the Maleficent Maze. So this will cycle 5 cards, or 2 if we rotate it, and we may rearrange the order of all the cards moving to the bottom of the deck. So that's quite handy a bit later on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we might as well just move 5 to the back, I reckon. The Vault of Avarice. If the sum of the next 2 cards in the deck is 7, rotate this card. Well, that is not the case. And once we've rotated the card, it's worth a power and gives us more flexibility. But we're just going to move 4 cards to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So had that been 3, we would have triggered that figment there, but we have not. So we have not. The Veiled Stare. So this has just got an end game condition. If the deck contains 3 or more adjacent cards in ascending or descending order, will gain a star. Currently worth 2. Could be worth 5 in terms of cycling, but the 2 is going to take us to this card here, so we'll leave it as it is, I think. Check this card out, and it's another figment, this one with a value of 1. So that's just going to take us to the next card when we move that to the back. And this is Galdor's Grip. So if you remember, this is the card that triggers the end of the game, but only when all 4 binding stones are face up. So for now it's just going to stay there. But Galdor's Grip does allow us to decide how many cards will move to the back, anywhere between 1 and 6. So obviously we're not going to do 1 because that'd be the figment. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we'll go for the whole 6. And I'm doing that because the Maleficent Maze allows us to rearrange the order of all cards moving to the bottom of the deck. So we might as well go for the one after that, so that we have a card we can potentially manipulate in the future. And it's the Frenzied Flame. So every time we reveal the Frenzied Flame, we rotate it and then move it to a random spot. So we're going to rotate it. It's now worth 1 power, and I think we we move it to a random spot. So where are we going to move it to? I think we'll just move it to there. I don't have a strong opinion about where to move it to. Next card is the Deep Root Depths. So we're going to move this to the bottom of the deck, along with 2 other cards at the moment. When we do so, we can rotate any card we are moving. Any cards that can ordinarily be rotated, that is. So those cards are not revealed yet, so I think we'll just leave it as is. We're not going to rotate them. I'm not sure if you can rotate cards that have not yet been revealed. So this is going to cycle through 4. The Vault of Avarice. Some of the next 2 cards, being 7, would be advantageous, but that is not the case at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've dodged that Figment, luckily. Just got an end game condition here, so if we do 2, it would take us to a Figment. Now the question is, do we want to do that? Because if we rotate the Figment, next time we come across it, the game would be lost. But by rotating the Figment, it begins to be worth a power. So you want to have a little bit of danger. I think maybe it's a bit too early to be doing that. So we'll rotate the Veiled Stare, giving it a value of 5, unless of course that takes us to a Figment as well. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, good. That takes us to a new card, and it is Farragut's Fortress. So when it's on the top of the deck, you can peek at a face down card in the deck. If there are none, lose the game. And currently it will cycle 1 card. It could cycle 6, so we could check the next card to see whether it is one we want to reveal. And it is a Binding Stone, and we definitely want to reveal the Binding Stones, so we will leave it in this orientation so that it is valued at 1. Move it to the bottom of the deck, reveal the next card. So this Binding Stone, the East Binding Stone, either has a value of 2 or a value of 5. Let's stick with the 2 and reveal this card here. And it's it's another Binding Stone. Good, good, good. So this is a value of 4 or 3. 1, 2, 3. So that would take us to one of these unrevealed cards. How many Binding Stones have we got out of curiosity? So we've got 1 there, 2, 3. So we're still looking for a Binding Stone. I think we'll rotate that to 3. Move those 3 cards to the back, reveal this card, and it is the Beast's Sanctum. So this gives us 2 stars at the end of the game if we have exactly 3 6s on show, and the star value, so the star that can be any number, does not count towards this card. So that's quite tricky to do. So it could be a 6, could be a 1. So let's flip it to a 1 so that we can check out this card here. Oh, and it's the final Binding Stone. Alright, so it's worth 3 or a 4. So if we look now for Galdor's Grip, you can see anywhere in the deck, if at any point in the deck we have all 4 Binding Stones face up, then we rotate this card. So next time we hit Galdor's Grip, the end of the game will be triggered and we'll win if we have 9 stars, or we'll lose. So this can be a 3 or a 4. So 3 would hit Frenzied Flame, which would flip it and lose us a power. 4 would just hit this card, North Binding Stone. So I think we're going to do that. We'll flip this to 4. We'll hit North Binding Stone. At the end of the game, if this card has the same value as an adjacent card, you gain 1 power. Now 6 would be next to Frenzied Flame, inverted. Does it have an invert value of nothing? Or does that count as both? I'm not 100% sure, because having a 6 next to a star value, which could be a 6, I believe counts. Yeah, it totally does. So if we can rotate the North Binding Stone to 6, that would be a good thing. That would flip this Figment, which maybe would be a good thing, because that would give us an extra power. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to flip that. I'm going to move 6 cards to the back. That's going to flip this Figment, which is risky, because it means next time we reveal this Figment, we lose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is the Maleficent Maze. You may rearrange the order of all cards moving to the bottom of the deck. So we could, at the moment, move 5 cards. Do we want to rearrange these cards? Is there any value to doing that? Well, we have got the South Binding Stone, which currently has a value of 4 and gains us a power if it's next to another card valued 4, which it already is. So that's good. So actually, I'm not sure we do want to do that. I think we're just going to move 5 cards to the bottom. We're going to reveal this card, and it's another Figment. This one with a value of 3 in terms of moving to the bottom. Oh, and that is going to trigger a Figment. Fine. So that Figment gets flipped and has got 2. So that's going to move us to Balgran's Beard. Now, if all the cards moving to the bottom of the deck equal a total of 13 or higher, we rotate the card to get a star. Is that going to be the case though? No, not in the slightest. Never mind. But 1, 2, 3 is going to move us past Galdor's Grip, which is a shame because I think we might be close right now. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I think I've just lost. It happens quite quickly when it happens. Oh, curses. Because the 3 of Balgran's Beard, 1, 2, 3, reveals this Figment, which has already been rotated. If this side was active prior to the start of this turn, lose the game. So I have lost. That is the end of this playthrough of Galdor's Grip. Unfortunately, ending in failure. Let's do a quick star tally to see where I'm at. Oh, look, so I was 1 card off getting Galdor's Grip then. So we've got 1 star for this Figment. This one is not scoring us anything, this Binding Stone. This Binding Stone is not scoring us anything, so we're only on 1 so far. Okay, so we need to check for 6s for this one. I don't think I've got 3 6s. No, I haven't got 3 6s. We've got 1. We've got 1. Oh, it's not a high score. 1. So we're scoring 1 for this Binding Stone because it's got the same value as an adjacent card. So that's 2. 3 for the Frenzied Flame. 4 for this Figment. So actually quite a low score. A total of 4 points. And I needed 9. I needed to flip another Figment maybe. Yeah, there's not that many points available. But there you go, folks. That's Galdor's Grip. It's a nice little meditative game that can be played wherever you are. Like I said, I was playing in the park yesterday, and then I went to a coffee shop and I played in the coffee shop as well. It was a pleasant day. Let me know what you think of this one. Are you a fan? I know I posted a picture of me playing in the park and somebody commented and said they'd played something like 20 times and had won once or twice. So that makes me feel a little bit better about having lost all 3 or 4 games that I've played. Let me know in the comments below whether you have much more success, whether you have an approach that you think helps you win more consistently. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching. Let me know if you want me to check out the expansions or if you are a particular fan of those. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.